Hello everyone! Have you ever wanted to single-handedly carry the game even in dire situations? Did you want to land game-winning ults or game-flipping ults? Do you want to be disgustingly fed and shock the whole match? Well, if you answered yes to all of those questions, look no further because Yone is the correct champ for you, my friend. To prove to you that the claims above are true, let's go over a game where our team was behind, the enemy was on me the whole time, but we were still able to carry the game, get our team eventually ahead, and style on everyone in the game. Without further ado, let's get into the game. Thanks for watching, make sure to like and subscribe. Love you all. We are up against Gwen. It is a pretty Yone favorite matchup, so I'm taking Ignite, but you can take Exhaust if you aren't as confident. For runes, I'm bringing Shield Bash and Bone Plating, the standard stuff. Level 1 against Gwen, I think if you want the lane to be easy, you have to position really aggressively and not let her auto the wave because you don't want her to stack Q, which completely loans you off. When Q is fully stacked, you can Q3 her only if it is max range or else she just snips you when you Q3. Here, I was probably thinking about other stuff and didn't pay attention to how I should play the lane, so I ended up letting her walk up. When her Q is fully stacked, we just have to back off, and normally we would lose prio and have to avoid being aggressive before level 3. Diverting from this for a second though, in this other game against Gwen, I showcased the correct way of playing it. Gwen was not allowed to touch the wave level 1, and we have Q3 when she goes to CS, getting a significant amount of her HP. From that point onwards, we slowly push the wave into her turret and reset for 2 daggers while the wave pushes back to us. With that, we had a significant advantage, and even though we are down a level, we can still trade aggressively. Then taking her out with a flash and putting us at a very comfortable spot. Coming back to the game we are focusing on, while under normal circumstances, I would have to chill and hug the turret till level 3, we were able to capitalize on Gwen's mistake. While we are dragging away, Gwen goes to auto the minion to ensure that her Q stacks stay full, and we use that timing to Q Gwen out of the bush. It's not that Yone needs to be fully scared of Gwen with Q stacked, but actually figuring out how you can stick on her after she uses Q. Not letting her drag away while making sure the lane is long enough for you to give chase. Here, both of the issues above are dealt with, so we just chase her. If you see the enemy attempting to juke you, it might be safer to go for autos as juking slows them down, putting them in auto range. Then you can wait until they stop doing so, or wait for better angles / out of range to go for Q, guaranteeing some damage. We stopped chasing when our Q couldn't reach, and while it was already huge since Gwen would lose a lot of XP on the frozen wave, Gwen decides to not reset or go around, but rather walk through river, so we turn on her. She ends up flashing away anyways, and back to lane we pressure her off the wave, but she hits level 2 first, so we pretend to be scared and then Q3 both her and the minion getting level 2. We walk downwards, so even if she dashes, we would still be in reach, so she dashes sideways, but since she has no flash, we can now aggressively flash forwards, killing her with Ignite. When we return to lane, the wave is pushing to us, so we freeze it, forcing her to overextend for XP. After she uses Q, we give chase with E getting her W. This is what I meant by if you Q3 too close, she will Q you and that's generally bad. Since I traded a bit too aggressively, I broke the freeze and it's something you should try to be aware of. Because of that, I slow pushed the wave into her and kept poking her to die for level 6. However, Ivern was there to defend her and we are forced to back off. But with that, we have gold for recurve bow and pickaxe, so there's no reason to stay in the lane any further, and we shove the wave for reset. A common strategy against champions with a dash like Echo, Gwen, and Ezreal is to walk up with Q3 and pressure them until they dash first, and while it worked, my aim was a bit off. Since I don't have any sustain, I shove the wave and get honey fruit, coming back to lane with a significant health advantage. Before I could continue though, Ivern invaded jungle, so we had to rotate and help. Since we can't get to Nocturne in time, we instead look at the Scion, who was also rotating, and we sandwiched him with Victor, but Scion flashes away. We have to remember that Gwen was following us this whole time, so I decided to try my luck and R, hoping she does not react. Unfortunately, she did E away, but we kept her on us with E and Ignite, finishing the job and getting her flash as well. We clean up the wave before basing. In other cases against dash champs where they hold onto it, try to see if you can get into a distance where even if they react, it'll get intercepted, or they simply fail to react like so. Gwen tries to fight back, but when I turned, she was scared and had to use W. Gwen's W was the only thing preventing me from diving her on the spot, as it meant harder to hit ult, but since she just used it to prevent damage, we immediately turn on her with Q3 and ult when her W ends. With Bork now, we freeze the wave for way longer, stalling for our ult CD. When it is up, we can just use it even if it misses or she dashes away, because all we need to do is to gap close her due to our significant lead. Since Gwen flashed away in the previous fight where Ivern invaded, she has no tools left to escape with. I tend to not finish boots if I have gold for shield bow components, since top is lane kingdom and the extra damage almost always provides more value than the movement speed. Using Gwen's Q timing, we E up after getting a Q stack, so we have Q3 up for when she dashes away. We even get her flash again, forcing her to base and securing first turret for us. As we continue forwards, Ivern shows up and I wanted to surprise him with Q3 but whiffed when he suddenly left. When we E back, Gwen is waiting for us, but she isn't really a problem. It's more so that we avoid being CC chained to death by Daisy and Ivern. I stack Q on Daisy and flash away to prevent being hit. Ivern comes around and we use the minions to block his Q. Stacking Q3, we ult forcing his flash, and we Q3 where he flashes to before executing him with E. Then I miraculously outplayed the enemy, and everyone on my team said I was the best Yone they have ever seen in their life and was most likely the best that they will ever see. After I based and recalled, I go bot because Victor went top to get a feel of my legacy felt like, and definitely not because I died and he went to catch the wave. Now dealing with Jhin and Thresh, I wanted to get a plate utilizing Nocturne's ult, but Scion ults down from mid and Thresh used Q when I eat back, forcing me to ult to cancel out the CC. Honestly, I should have either played around the turret or simply left, but my ego told me to just go for it. With Q3 we one-shot Jhin, but there isn't much to do against Thresh Hook and Scion Q, so I just died. After respawning, Drake was spawning, so we went through mid and into our jungle to set up. However, the enemy was showing up at our blue, so we Q3 into the Ivern and back off just before being CC'd. Just as we were all being stunned by Scion, Nocturne ults denying vision, giving us the perfect opportunity to Q3 and ult, popping the enemies like balloons and picking up the Gwen kill before taking Drake and helping push mid tier 2. As we were pushing, I knew Ivern was going to be at his blue side, so I go to invade, but from Thresh's reaction, we can tell they either have vision or are planning to collapse on me. Then, stacking Q3 on Wolves, we fight Ivern and almost kill him, but he dashes away with Q. Thresh hooks us, but no one was around to assist, so they simply let me go. Normally, I would never do this when my team wasn't around and I needed to reset, but we knew a few things. Scion was bot and Gwen was just respawning. Jhin was there, but with Ivern 1 HP, Thresh and Jhin alone would have been okay to deal with, so the real key here was getting Ivern low. But as Scion reset and Gwen showed up mid, it was a signal for us to leave. I take Scuttle Crab as Ivern was carrying camps and look to cheese Gwen, but Phaelite spot me. I don't stop running because I see Scion and him ulting is not out of the question. Since we know Ivern and Gwen are right behind him, we Q3 away after dodging his stun. After a while, team hovers us while we are splitting top and we catch their ball lane with Nocturne ult. Since we get to Jhin, we just take out the Thresh and turn to Baron since Victor had also dealt with the Scion. Jhin shows up to Baron and ults, so we gap close with R and Q3 him. Sadly, I did whiff my Q, so I was forced to flash for the kill. With the next Drake spawning, we catch Scion and Nocturne ult, so we fight them in their jungle. I couldn't quite catch Ivern, but since Gwen still only had one item, she was not much of a threat for us. After Drake, we were doing a 1-4 split, and Victor was caught. Seeing the angle, we pinged to go in with Q3 followed by a 3-man ult. Bran was able to chain his ult out of close proximity, deleting the enemy. We did try to end, but with no minions, we decided to back off, and while I was resetting after invading, their whole team pulls up on me. We first dodge the Jhin W and avoid coming in contact with Sion by flashing for Jhin. We don't kill Jhin with E to get that stack of Q, so when we E back, we can stack Q3 and drag away after being CC'd. With Q3 again, we E over the wall to buy time, and when Sion gets stunned, we E back and Q3 the Ivern. Ultimately, team helps us, and the enemy lacked final damage to finish me off. With that, we were able to end the game. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Bye bye.